In this video, I'm going to go over the fseek function in C. So the fseek function sets the file position of a stream to a given offset. So for example, we can use fseek to modify where into a file we're writing. So instead of writing to the end of the file, we could use fseek to write into the middle of the file. So let's go over an example of using fseek. The first thing we're going to need if we want to access a file is a file pointer. So I'll say file star file to create a file pointer variable. Then we'll open the file with fopen. So we'll say file is equal to fopen file.txt and w. So fopen is going to open the file named file.txt, and the second argument here, the w, is going to make it so that the file is opened in writing mode. So we're going to be writing to the file. Now, if fopen can't open the file, it's going to return null. If it can, it's going to return a file pointer, and we're going to store it into file. So the first thing we're going to do is check that file isn't null, because if file is null, we got to stop executing the program because the file didn't open successfully. So we'll say here, if file is equal to null, printf error opening file, and then we'll return 1 to terminate the execution of our program. So we're going to return 1 instead of returning 0, because when we return 1, that's actually a signal to the terminal here, to the shell, that something went wrong in the execution of our program. Now that we've opened the file successfully, let's start writing to the file. So here I'll say fprintf file, and I'll put the numbers from 0 to 9, followed by a new line. And then, after we're done with the file, we'll say fclose file to close it. So I'll save that, and we'll do a compilation, and then we'll run it, and we'll check out file.txt. And we see the contents of the file are the numbers from 0 to 9, followed by a new line. So right now, if we were to try to write more to the file, it would start right here on the next line. So we can try that out. Here I'll say fprintf file, and we'll put the characters from A to J, followed by a new line. So we'll save that, do another compilation, and run it again. And when we check out the file, we're going to find that those letters follow right after those numbers, right after that new line there. And that's because this file pointer has a file location, and we can actually manipulate that location with fseek. When we do that, we're going to be modifying where we write to the file. So let's try that here. I'll say fseek file, and I'll say 0, and then seek set. So the first argument to fseek is the file pointer itself. The second argument here is going to be the offset, it's called. The third argument is going to be the starting point at which the offset is applied. And it's going to be one of 3 constant values. This first constant value basically means the start of the file, and the offset is going to be applied from there. So it's kind of like the file location is going to be set to the very start of the file. And from there, we could apply an offset. For now, I'll leave it as 0. So after doing this, we'll say fprintf file abc. So we'll save that, do a compilation, and we'll run it. And when we check with the file, we get ABC here as the first 3 characters. And what's gone on is that fseek has modified the file location, where file is now basically starting here, because seek set means start at the beginning of the file, and the offset is 0 from there. Now we could change it to an offset of 4, and then it's going to be 4 characters deep into the file. So if we save this here now, do a compilation and run it, and we check with the file again, we'll see that ABC is written 4 characters deep into the file. So that's what we can do with fseek. We can use it to modify where into the file we're going to be writing. So let's try out some of the other fseek options. Here I'll say fseek file 1 seek current. So this constant here, seek current or seek cur, what it's going to do is set the starting point of the offset to be the current file location. So right now, after writing ABC into the file, the current file location is right here, right at the 7. And so if I said here, fseek file 1 seek cur, it's going to apply an offset of 1 from where the file pointer is currently, from where the file location is currently, which is right here. So we're going to skip over 7 and then write starting here. So if I were to say fprintf file and then D, I should get a D right here where 8 is. So we'll try this. We'll do a compilation and we'll run it. And if I check out the file, I get a D right there. So the third constant value allows us to write to the end of the file. Let's try that now. Here I'll say fseek, and I'll say file, and then I'll say -4 seek end. So seek end is going to start the offset at the end of the file. And then an offset of -4 is actually going to be 4 characters back from the end of the file. So we'll try to print some characters at this point. We'll say fprintf file, and we'll put in 2 stars. So we'll do a compilation, and we'll run it, and we'll check with the file, and we get 2 stars here, starting 4 characters from the end of the file. Because remember, there's the new line character at the end of the file here as well. So one thing with fseek is it will return 0 if it fails. So if we said fseek file 10 seek end, this is impossible, right? It doesn't make any sense. We've set the offset to start at the end of the file, and then we've said to have an offset of 10 from there. But there is no 10 characters from there because it's the end of the file. So this should cause fseek to return 0. And we can check for that. We'll say if fseek, when it's called with these arguments, return 0, printf seek failed, and we'll return 1. So we'll save this, compile it, and run it. And we get seek failed as we expect. And so this is how we can use the fseek function in C. Check out portfoliocourses.com, where we'll help you build a portfolio that will impress employers, including courses to help you develop C programming projects.